I spoke with you in an earlier filming about the importance for democracy of critical thinking, and how when Chelsea and I were thinking about the book, we knew critical thinking was really valuable, but we started hearing people talk about the existential choice faced by human beings is autocracy or democracy. We started hearing conversations like that, and we started thinking, well, we want to be on the democracy team, but at the same time, we're not in favor of all democracies. For example, would you be in favor of a democracy of 4-year-olds? Some families have that problem and it doesn't work very well. Would you like to have a democracy consisting of people over the age of 70 and those are the only voters that you have? I don't think so. I don't think so. Democracies are not necessarily something that you would want to support. But the democracies you do want to support are ones where individual voters, individual learners have reasoning abilities that enable them to be selective when they vote. In other words, they're not going to vote for people who say, I'm going to base my programs on something I heard on TV. Well, a critical thinker would say, well, what did you hear? Did the person have the experience or the training that would enable you to have confidence in what they said? Did the politician have any evidence? What did it look like? Was it something that gives you a sense that this has been studied carefully by people who were willing to think that it doesn't work, and then they discovered it does work? What is your evidence? So that critical thinking voters are not susceptible to the same kinds of manipulations that other voters are susceptible to. For example, we've all seen it. We've watched. There was a governor who ran for re-election in the state where I lived at the time, and he had a brilliant ad. He got down on his knees. He had his shirt rolled up. He's just a common guy, right? His shirt rolled up, and he surrounded himself with 20 beautiful, multicultural 4- and 5-year-olds. And the 4- and 5-year-olds were playing with one another and waving at the camera, and they were just delightful. You watch the ad and you're like, I like this ad. And at the end, the person who wants your vote looks into the camera and he says, this is why I'm running to be your next governor. And what an effective ad. But it's not an effective ad if you're a nation of critical thinking voters. Because you say to yourself, well, what policies has he ever sponsored? Free school lunches for the 30% of children who come to school but they haven't had any breakfast? He loves children. Really? How many bills did he co-sponsor that provide daycare centers so that parents can work without the fear that their children are going to be all by themselves at home or in dangerous situations? You love kids? Great, me too. Let's have free daycare for families that are trying to stretch and make a dollar so that the child can go to a special kindergarten or the child can have their dental needs taken care of. That's what a person who loves children does. All you're doing is just saying, I'm bright enough to surround myself with children in my ads. Critical thinkers are trained to be careful with who they vote for. All the institutions, every single one of them that constitute what we call a democracy, they all depend on high quality reasoning. Without that high quality reasoning, rule of law doesn't mean anything. What it does mean is that those who are tricky, those who have a lot of money are able to get you to vote for them, get you to pay attention to them. But in actuality, a critical thinker would ask them questions designed to explore whether they should be voting for them or not. To summarize, critical thinking is essential for the institutions of democracy to work. To just say, well, we had a lot of people vote. Well, were those people who carefully looked at the options, who saw through the manipulative techniques of the people trying to get them to vote? Or were they just people who think that voting is important, so they are going to do it even though they can't even remember the names of the alternative candidates? Thank you.